Women are born on top of the mountain, men are born in the valleys around it. A man is judged by how high he climbs, a woman is judged by how far she falls. Men have much to gain, women have much to lose. Masculinity is built, femininity is preserved. I think sometimes as men it's easy to begrudge our journey, and sometimes women begrudge their journey. This is just the programming, and I don't pretend to understand why that's above my pay grade, but I do know that this is a reality. We are on different journeys, and there is a role for a man where he has to step up and prove himself. And one thing men learn really, really quickly is, one, we're expendable, and we should be. We're here to preserve our females and our children. That's what men are supposed to do. Not only are we expendable, but the only value that a man has is the value that he provides for somebody else. Whereas women have a completely different framework that they're operating within. They already have intrinsic value, and they are the ones that are going to carry the human race into the future. So as men, it is our job to protect femininity, not to degrade it or to destroy it or to manipulate it, which so many men do, but to be protectors of it, that are going to stand their watch. And when the night is the darkest, that's when you need men out there. When the wolves are howling, you need a man out there that's going to take care of it, that's willing to lay down his life to protect the things that he loves most and to preserve the women in his life and the children in his life. And there's no shame in that. That is the journey that all of us men are on.
What's up? Welcome to my channel. I'm going to react to this clip and others, but first I want to say that what this clip brought to mind was this really interesting in the metaphor of women being at the top of the mountain and men being in the valleys. I think first off, the problem with this clip is that it does reinforce the idea that men have to earn their masculinity. I don't think that's the case. Just like women are inherently feminine, men are inherently masculine. I think you don't need to earn or build your masculinity. And where he said that women have value and men need to earn or build value, or something like that, men inherently have value as well. They just have no idea what it is. And you'll see that in the next clip. I uploaded it to TikTok a few days ago, and it goes really well with the clip we just saw. But another thing that I feel like is messed up about it is he's talking about what men provide. That's where their value lies. This is a problem because a lot of men in the red pill situation feel that way. They feel like they're being used for what they can provide. And not, here's the thing. On both sides of the argument, when you think about the gender situation that's going on online, on both sides of the argument, women want to be heard, women want to be heard, and they want to be valued for who they are. Same thing with men. Men want to be heard, and they want to be valued for who they are. So when he talks about that a man needs to provide, I think we don't need to reinforce that idea. You know what I mean? Because it's not been working since the 50s. And I don't like the idea that is being taught to men that the only thing that they can do for somebody else is provide. They are a whole human being in and of themselves. You know what I mean? Who they are is intrinsically valuable, just like with women. Another thing that was interesting about this clip is absolutely, I do believe that men have protective instincts, just like women have protective instincts. And a man with his instincts is number one when it comes to protecting his partner and his family. And that's, gender is irrelevant. You know what I mean? Men have strong protective instincts. So I absolutely agree with that point. The clip as a whole, I feel like he's got an interesting way of saying it. I think he said it really well. However, I think men are not just here to be the brawn. Men are not just here, you know what I mean, to be a woman's security guard. You know what I mean? Like, let's give men a little bit more credit than that. But watch this next clip because I think it plays into the value thing very well. What's up? I just wanted to say women are not in competition with men. Women are not in competition with men. Women are not in competition with men. I think since the beginning of history, the problem has been that men have thought that power is exclusively external and the only way to get power is to take it from somebody else. And women have always known about their innate power and have stood in it. Men have been terrified of that if they weren't trying to belittle, stomp, and conquer down and take her power away from her or conquer it for himself. I think the root of the issue here is that not only did men not understand what the hell power was, but they also have thought that women have been in competition with them to steal their power. That is projection that has happened against women for all of human history. We're not in competition with you. I made that video because I felt like I wanted to get to the root of what it is that men feel like they will lose if they have an empowered woman. First, let's define what this power is that I'm talking about. So everybody innately has worth. Everybody innately has capabilities. And I think men are not aware of this and women are. You know what I mean? So since men are not aware of this, that they are innately worthy, first off, they feel worthless. And then on top of that, they've seen in the world, because we all showed up here and things were what they were, right? They show up in the world and they see the men that have power are the men who have power over something else, the men who go out and conquer in one way or another, be it other people, be it companies, be it money, etc. So they get the message that the only way to have power is to, one, build it physically with all of this workout stuff. You'll notice that a lot of people who believe, a lot of these men who believe that they're alphas and leaders and religion and all this other stuff, a lot of them build their bodies too because they think physical strength is a type of power, and that's just another way to like have power over other people, because his physical strength allows him to have more strength, fake power over the woman, or strength, fake power over other men. Next, he wants to build his power by accumulating what he thinks makes him powerful. So in a lot of cases for men, that's money, right? That's why we have this whole provider stereotype, that the more money you have, the more powerful you are, and the higher caliber of woman you're allowed to attract. Now, by caliber of woman, I don't mean an actually powerful woman. I mean a woman who looks good on his arm and is willing to add to his power with her image or whatever. What they are not looking for is a woman who is actually powerful, a woman who is on the same level as him materially, on the same level as him intellectually, or even surpasses him in these areas, etc. Men are now mad that women want these things from them when men set up the system the whole time. They now understand the immense pressure that they put themselves under. Men have said, this is what I have to offer you. And then fast forward to now, and they're like, why is this the only thing you want from me? It's because that's you told us this is the only thing that you can offer. And that's at the root of the thing, right? Now men are having to redefine what it is they have to offer women, because everything that they offered us in the past, i.e. money, material security, women are now able to provide that for themselves. So now they have to think, and they have to be like, well, what is my value now? What is my power now? And I think a lot of this red pill stuff is just men trying to reclaim the control that they once had over everything. They feel like they're losing control. And the reason why they feel like they're losing control is because everything is changing. And instead of redefining who and what they are, they want to go back and have things be the way that they used to be. Well, that's not how change works. You get on board or you get left behind. And back to women not being in competition with men, we never were. We don't want to be in competition with men. We want to share with men. That's it. We want to have the same level of power that men have enjoyed. But the thing about it is, not only have women had innate power and they've stood in it, but it's been threatened. Women are now at a point where they needed to reclaim all of the power that men took from them. So that's what women have been doing. They've not been doing it in a way that unseats men. They've been doing it in a way that empowers themselves. And I think men have not noticed the nuance, that women were not trying to take anything from them all along. But what men have thought of that as is, you're trying to take control of yourself away from me. I should be controlling you. Not at all. She was always in control of herself. And I think the thing about men is now they're needing to be in control of themselves, and they don't exactly know what to do. But here's another clip of a guy who is talking to the fellas.
Most of the reason why some of y'all are single and have a bad concept of women in your brain is because throughout the years you have formed an imaginary woman, one that you've never seen or met, and you've been arguing with the bitch for years. You don't know what women want. You just going based off what the internet thinks that women want. Y'all let the internet poison your brain into thinking that all women are gaslighting gold diggers that only want you for your bread and nothing else. My nigga, you make, what, $35,000 a year? She's not getting nothing from that. She wants you for you. The internet is actively forming a gender war because niggas see women or hear horror stories about women that wouldn't even apply to the majority of them that you'll encounter on an everyday basis. That woman that you see at the library, nigga, she not a gold digger. She don't have an OnlyFans. She don't have 3 or 4 baby daddies. she's just a regular ass woman at the fucking library. But and this applies to women as well. But I'm not a woman, so I can't really speak on the encounters that they have with men, of course. Because us men, we can do some really fucked up things. But if people just take the time to go out and experience the other gender and speak and have different experiences with said gender, like I just said, then it'll be a lot better, bro. It'll be a lot better. A lot of y'all will be getting married by now.
This man is making an excellent point in that a lot of people are letting the internet tell them what women are instead of interacting with women and finding out for themselves. I feel like this is a huge part of the divide, right? And again, at the root of this is insecurity. At the root of this is not understanding their own innate power. The reason why these men are like this is because they don't feel in the first place that they are worthy of a female partner. If they're cis and straight, you know what I mean? They don't feel like a woman would give them the time of day, and that comes back to insecurity. And insecurity is at the root of trying to get power. Insecurity is at the root of narcissism. Insecurity is at the root of this conquering, needing somebody submissive, etc., etc. Power, trying to get power. So these particular men look up to people who work out and look the way that they want to look, who are spouting this nonsense about how they need to feel like they're empowered and control women, and they're eating it up with a spoon, with chopsticks, with a fork. They see these men as powerful, and they see that if they follow in line with that man, then they'll feel powerful. Back to the point of these men not knowing what women want. It's not because women haven't told them, because there's millions of videos on the internet of women saying exactly what they want. The problem is, it's not what women want that these people don't understand. They don't know how women think. If they put any amount of energy into understanding women and not listening to these people who are telling them how to manipulate and control women, then they would get much further. And another thing that I want to point out here is that a lot of men look up to these red pill men because of their looks, right? Because they want to look like these men. But what a lot of men are not understanding is that if you understand a woman, she will look very far past your looks. It's really not about looks for women, and I'm speaking for the majority. There are some women who are really into looks, and that's the only thing that matters to them. I'm not one of those people. But speaking from my perspective and people like me, looks are the last thing on my list, my guy. Like, we have to be compatible. You have to treat me well, all kinds of stuff. And treating me well is not how much money you can trick off. It's how you can show me respect, how you treat me as someone who is on the same level as you, how you interact with me, etc., etc. The time you spend with me, the attention you give me, the affection you give me, etc. Again, it's not like women haven't told men what they want. Are men listening? That's the question. Are men listening? I think what he's saying about going out and getting to actually experience women is the number one thing. You got to put yourself out there. You can't just sit and be mad and taking all of this content without the actual experience of women. You need the opportunity for women to show you who they are. And I think the same goes for women as well. We're talking about cis straight situations. I think women have gotten to the point where they have been so traumatized and used so much, and et cetera, we can go on and on, to where they are also to the point where they don't want to put themselves out there and experience positive men. They kind of want to not experience men at all. And this is definitely a problem. This is definitely something that needs to change. And I think, honestly, the ball is in men's court. If men could change their perspective on women, we could make a ton of progress. And I think women would be receptive to it. But men have to make the first move, which ties into the next clip nicely. Check it out.
Women fully step into her divine feminine without any men around.
No,
Wow, that's going to get some attention.
I'm aware.
How about the vice versa? Can a guy step into his divine masculine without women around?
Yes. You want to know why?
Yeah, that surprises me.
Because a masculine trait is initiation. You could whittle it down like this, like masculinity is step one. Responsiveness is a feminine trait. So there's a lot more feminine aspects which are dependent, quote unquote, on other things. And I know that no woman who has been damaged by masculine wants to hear that.
How many women, as a percentage, would you say have been damaged?
I don't think I've ever met a single woman that hasn't been.
How many men have been damaged by the feminine?
I haven't met a single one that hasn't been.
Seems like this might be a whole species-wide problem, doesn't it?
Yeah, it is.
So how would you fix it?
I would help us to fall in love with each other again.
This is Teal Swan. She has a fascinating story. You can look her up if you want to, but I think she said it really well, better than I could probably say it. But I think the point that she made was at the end, I would help men and women fall in love with each other again. So the thing here is that the divisiveness is the opposite of unity, and unity is what we need, right? And I think falling in love with each other again is part of that. But in order for us to find our way toward each other, we have to stop nitpicking over little things that are dividing us, right? Women have already said what they want. Super cool. What we need to address is men. What we need to address with men is what it is that they feel like they need in order to come back toward women, in order to stop being a threat to women, and in order to feel like they are innately powerful and they don't need to take from anything else. They don't need to conquer, overpower anything else, and they can feel like their power is independent of those things. They can feel like they have power, they have worth, they have security intrinsically, and there's nothing outside of them that they need to do to get it. And as for women, we have to be willing to give men another chance. And isn't that a tall order, right? And speaking from my own personal experience, I'm not going to tell you all the details, I'm not going to give you my whole business, but I will tell you for context that I've been in one relationship and I've been single since, and it's been 7 years. That was the impact that relationship had on me, right? So I'm not the only one with these types of stories. A lot of women are, and especially when we get into subjects like SA and stuff like that, guys, women need to feel safe approaching you. And I think you need to feel safe approaching us as well. And I think we need to start there. We have to figure out how we are making each other feel unsafe. I think for men, they feel emotionally unsafe. They can't be vulnerable. They can't open up, et cetera, et cetera. And women feel physically not safe. So let's start there. We also need to address insecurity. With men don't feel like they are enough in some way. And they feel like the way to feel enough is to do all of these external changes. That would be the money, that would be the body, et cetera, et cetera. I feel like women have the same pressure, but at the same time, the way that women are feeling insecure is that she doesn't ever feel safe. So she constantly has to protect herself. So when men become safe, women will stop protecting themselves, and then both will be open to each other. This is something we are totally capable of doing, and I think it needs to be done on the macro and the micro level. Number one, we need to put on the macro level obvious media, obvious things put out there that show people the example, because people not having the example is the problem. There are too many people who are toxic or extreme who have a platform, and those people are reinforcing and creating the hate that we see. So hate is not going to get us anywhere. If you think you can hate yourself into having a woman, you're incorrect. That is strictly for the red pill folks. Cut it out. We need to stop telling people what their place is, and we need to stop minding other people's business, and we need to look at how we are showing up in the world. That goes on both sides. And the last clip said it very well. We need to fall in love with each other again. And love is an open thing. Love is a curious thing. Love is a welcoming thing. So as long as we're being hostile toward each other, we are making this love impossible. So that's all I got for you today. Thank you for hanging out as long as you have. I really appreciate you. Let me know what you think in the comments. Let me know which clip stood out to you the most, and add your voice to the conversation. I can't wait to hear from you. I will definitely read the comments, but in the meantime, thank you. Like, comment, subscribe. If you want to support me, if you want to see more content like this, let me know. But if you want to support me, you can do so in the description below. See you next time.